Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Ryan Bigelow. I'm the Library Director for the City of Cottonwood. Thank you very much for joining us today. I have two guests today, a very promising conversation that we're going to have today. My first guest is Louise Appleton, and she is the chair of the Cottonwood Bookmarks, the Friends of the Library group. Louise, thank you very much for coming today.
Welcome.
And our second guest is Connie Gilmore, and Connie is a member of the City of Cottonwood Library Advisory Board. These are two groups that I end up working very closely with, and two groups that I didn't know much about before I entered librarianship, and now I'm getting more and more familiar with what it is that you two do. I thought this was a great opportunity, seeing that next week is the National Library Week, April 7th through the 13th, National Library Week, that we get the opportunity to talk to you two, let the public know what it is that your groups and organizations are doing and how you go about supporting the library. So, Louise, if you don't mind, we'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the bookmarks and what it is that you guys do?
Well, Cottonwood Bookmarks has been in place since, 48 years.
Wow.
And it was first established because the first library in Cottonwood was in Old Town in a very, very small building. And as Cottonwood grew, it became very evident that a new library was needed and how to raise the funds for that library. And so a group of very dedicated people came together and established Cottonwood Bookmarks. And we have been supporting the library in one way or another for all these years. And
wonderful, and hence why you're called the Friends.
Friends of the Cottonwood Library,
the
yes.
Friends of the group, because that's what you are. You're great friends and great partners.
Mm-hmm.
And so this group is primarily focused on raising money, helping volunteer. How do the bookmarks see themselves?
I would say that most members of the board are volunteers at the library,
Okay.
and that's how we originally became very interested in bookmarks, because we felt it was another way to support the library. And we do as much as we can. I think obviously we have the book sales, but it's far more than that. Items that you may not be able to purchase because of limited budgeting, we are able to support the library through these purchases. And we have purchased several big ticket items like the security gates, which people go through all the time when entering the library. That was purchased by Bookmarks. The new information desk, that was purchased by us. And there are a lot of little items that we purchased just to support the library.
Right, and we thank you so much for everything that you do. Let's switch gears here and go to Connie. Connie, you're part of the Cottonwood Library Advisory Board. Can you tell us a little bit about the board itself and what it is that group does?
Well, I've been on the board for 7 years now.
Wonderful.
And it's a group that supports the library director and a sounding board for you, as we've talked about the strategic plan. Every month we review the things that are happening in the library, the statistics, and we're basically a sounding board, but a supportive group to help Ryan and all the library staff.
Right,
so.
Absolutely. And I come to you sometimes and give you reports or ideas, and you say, Ryan, that's not going to work. Let's hold back. Or you say, Ryan, this is great, but here's how we see it happening. So it's great that you're there, and I'm able to bounce those ideas off of you. Connie, what got you involved in the Library Advisory Board? You've been there 7 years. How did that start?
Well, there happened to be an opening shortly after I retired from Yavapai College, and I thought that's something I can get involved in that I would really enjoy as a community service. And it's been just great. Great people on the board, great staff at the library, and so we always enjoy helping support what's happening in the library.
So you're at Yavapai College. What were you doing there at Yavapai College?
Well, I wasn't a librarian there.
Okay.
I was a teacher and an administrator.
Okay.
But I was trained as a school librarian at the University in Wyoming.
Okay.
And I was a school librarian there for a number of years, and then we moved to Cottonwood 27 years ago. And I worked both in the Cottonwood Oak Creek District, in Clark Del Jerome, and at Mingus in the libraries.
Perfect. So you have a lot of library experience,
Yeah, I do.
school library experience, but that a lot of that relates to public libraries.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
I've worked in public libraries, so in fact, if it weren't for the Albany County Public Library in Laramie, I probably wouldn't be married to my husband, because he asked me out for our first date when I was working in the library and he was a library user. So
isn't that great?
Yep.
And just being relatively new to libraries, I hear those stories all the time.
Yeah.
I really do, and that's something that's a community space. This is where the community gathers, and it's wonderful. Louise, you have some experience in schools as well? Is that where you got your library start, or how did you get your library start?
It goes back to my high school days where I volunteered at a very small school library, I held an office with that group that sort of helped out at the library. But it's always been part of my life, and thinking about experience with libraries, I was an Army wife, and I was in Germany for a year, and I can't tell you how important the base library was to my life, because I was very isolated. We lived in a house owned by Germans, and so they didn't speak English, and so that library for a year really kept me going. It was sort of like another friend there. So
that's that's something I've learned too, is a lot of military folks, they travel around so often that the first place they like to go to, because it's their familiar space, is the library, and check that out and be able to kind of relate to each library a little bit. So I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about what's going on, or are there any major accomplishments that you've recently had as the Bookmarks that you'd like to kind of brag about a little bit?
Well, yes, although we just play a supporting role because it's the staff of the library that really puts this in place. But Comic Expo,
yes.
Which is a major fundraiser for the library, summer reading programs, and that was held on March 23rd. And I volunteered there, and it is just so heartening to see families of the community come and experience this. Now, it's sort of counterintuitive that, well, do we really want children reading comic books? But it's really very important. It does encourage reading among children. So just to see them there. We are reaching out to the community by offering this. So Bookmarks plays a very supportive role in this, but it's the library staff that really pulls it off.
I certainly agree, and I had that same thought coming into it. Comics, reading, is that really, but the reluctant readers that we have, that they're reading and they don't even know it, right? And that's how they get drawn in. So it's wonderful, and thank you for your support with that. Library Advisory Board, any major accomplishments recently that you'd like to?
Well, we worked hard on the strategic plan, thanks to you.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, has been very positive, and it giving us a sort of a fresh insight into the library and how we can maximize the funding, maximize the potential, and look at things in a new way to see if we can be open longer.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, that's we're going to wrap up this first segment here. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about maybe how others can get involved with your groups or volunteer at the library, and we'll also start touching a little bit more on the National Library Week theme and what's going on there. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Inside Cottonwood just after this.
Mandalay Homes introduces the new Ion Series, a revolutionary new approach to home building innovation and energy management. Built on a foundation of industry-leading energy efficiency and sustainable building practices, the Ion Series home redefines how we use and manage renewable energy. Contact a Mandalay Home sales executive today to learn more, or visit one of our Ion Series communities throughout northern Arizona.
Not on my watch, they say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So, not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives. Even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm Ryan Bigelow, the Public Library Director, and today I have Connie Gilmore and Louise Appleton with me. We're talking bookmarks, and we are talking Library Advisory Board and how people can get involved, what your roles are and supportive roles of the Cottonwood Public Library, and their volunteer opportunities everywhere, right? Why maybe use this as your pitch? Connie, let's start with you. Use this as your pitch as to why somebody might be interested and want to get involved with the Cottonwood Library Advisory Board.
Okay. We do have an opening right now, which would be wonderful to fill with someone who's passionate about libraries and really committed in a supportive role to what's happening in the library. And we do have a variety of opinions, and it's always interesting to hash out some things and see how it comes out.
Right. So anybody who wants to be a part of it, actually, I think April 5th today is the last day to apply. So hopefully we have a large stack of applications that we're going to have to run through very soon. But if anybody does want to apply, they can cottonwoodaz.gov and try to get on there and try to get an application in. Louise, how can people support the bookmarks or even be a part of the bookmarks?
Become a member.
Become a member.
Yes, that is something that really helps us out, because all of the funds that we raise through membership certainly supports the library. The fee is $10 annually and $75 for a lifetime membership. And that goes to really help us be able to expand programs at the library. So, and $10 doesn't seem like a lot of money to spend every year. And so we really encourage people to come forward and join Bookmarks. And that's all you have to do is pay that $10 membership fee. It does allow you to get half price off any books in our book boutique throughout the year. But I would like to encourage people to become members that go beyond that benefit, that you are supporting Cottonwood and the Verde Valley community by allowing us to raise more money and then expand programs at the library.
Right, and that's so important. And I know as chair, you put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and we can't thank you enough for all the time that you put in. But if you're a member, are there any expectations that you're at events, or do you have to come to events, or can you just be a member?
You can just be a member.
Okay.
Obviously, we do encourage being a volunteer in some way. Besides just being at the library, when we have book sales, we do go and request some help from members, and some people have come forward. Some people have joined, and then because they see what goes on at the library, then become volunteers. So all of this, as little as it may seem, can really, really help.
I completely agree. Thank you for that. Let's get back to National Library Week. April 7th through the 13th is National Library Week. One of the themes there is, how do you library? Everybody wants to know. We want to be sharing those stories, right? A lot of folks use the library, but people maybe think, what's a library for now these days? Or how might I use the library? Connie, can we start with you? We know how you kind of got into libraries. I know you still use the library. How do you go about using the Cottonwood Public Library?
Well, we recently took a trip, and one of the first things we did was go to the library and research where we were going.
Wonderful.
So and we've traveled extensively, and we always go check out libraries. So it's not only a good Wi-Fi spot, but it's just a good place to understand an area, a community. Right. And I know we have a number of travelers who come into our library. It's just such an integral resource for both the people who live here and the people who travel here.
Right. So, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I see you there almost every day, it seems like. I know you're not working all the time. You use the library too. How do you typically use the library?
The old-fashioned way. Just checking out books is my personal use of the library. And like Connie, if I'm going to travel somewhere, I'm going to research where I'm going so that I'm better prepared to experience what they have to offer. But I think I'd like to stress being a volunteer at the library now. It's going to be 12 years since I've been there. It was a goal for myself in retirement. That's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to volunteer at a library. But it goes beyond that, because you meet the same people all the time, and you establish, they're probably not close friendships, but it's a way of meeting people in the community. You see the same people, and then you can talk about books without being part of an official book club. You'll see somebody taking out a book, and you say, oh, I just read that, or they're bringing it back. What did you think? So you can really interact with a lot of different people just by being at the library, and that's what I really enjoy.
I'm glad you touched on that, because we have regulars like that I know who are going to be there at a certain time, and I can start knowing where they're going to be. We have definitely regulars who use the Wi-Fi. That is something that we see. Increasing usage of our computers, not just our public computers, but just for the Wi-Fi too. Sometimes that can be really expensive or hard to access, and that's a great service that the public library enjoys.
Well, there's so many things beyond books, and over the years people have said, well, books won't even exist anymore, everything's going to be on a computer, but that's not true.
Right.
People still like books, and it's important for young kids to actually hold a book, not just have it electronically. But also the tech support that the library provides, and workshops on how to use your e-reader, and the access that we have to books from the whole Yavapai library network is just phenomenal. I mean, even if we don't have that specific book at the Cottonwood Public Library, perhaps Prescott Public or Yarnell or whoever might have it.
Right.
And so you wait a few days and you get it. It's just amazing.
I'm glad you said that. We're very fortunate to be a part of such a wide network and have the access that we do. So it's not just on the Cottonwood Public Library to be able to purchase the materials. That we share a lot of that, and that's really, really one of the benefits of being in Yavapai County.
I think you can also highlight the library's website, where you have all of these different sources that, by having a library card, you can access. You know more than I the kinds of websites that are offered to us.
Right.
From Ancestry, I think, .com. If you have to be in the library to use that one. But there are so many other things that are available that most people would not even know about.
Right. I'll give you a quick example. Yesterday I had somebody ask me about name changes. I have legal name changes. Do you have any resources for that? Well, I went to the online resources section, and there's free legal paperwork, and there was a form for name changes. Just anything you might be able to think of. I think we usually have an answer for it, so that's what we're there for. So that's very nice to note. We've talked about the community, why it's important for the community, but it seems like we all have a little special place in our heart for the kids. How can the kids get involved, and why is that important that kids start to read at a young age?
Well, there's the number of programs for young children. I brought my grandsons for a while until they got too big for that. But the early childhood, the story times, the different levels, and all these family activities. There's some just phenomenal ones. But, I'd like to specifically mention the summer reading program, because I remember as a kid being so excited about the summer reading program and having these little sheets, and you could put a sticker on every time. And I still remember that. It was just a great way to engage. I didn't need a lot of encouragement to read, but it's really good for kids who might need a little more. And we don't want them to backslide over the summer when they're not in school. So.
It's a little incentive, and that's what we use. The Comic Expo raises money. We use a lot of that money for those incentives, books and prizes and toys, and we really just focus on participation. There's no winners or losers in a summer reading program. If you're reading over the summer, you're winning. So we definitely like to see that program grow and evolve, and we're just about get ready to get that thing started again. So it's unbelievable that it's almost summer again.
Wow.
Okay, we're about ready for our next break. The next segment here, we'll talk about the future a little bit. We've talked about what we're doing. Let's talk a little bit about where we want to go. I'm Ryan Bigelow, Library Director, Cottonwood Public Library, and we'll be right back.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride!
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Ryan Bigelow. I'm the Library Director for the Cottonwood Public Library, and we're just about to wrap it up here with Connie Gilmore from the Library Advisory Board and Louise Appleton, the Chair of the Cottonwood Bookmarks, the Friends of the Cottonwood Public Library. So we've discussed a little bit about why we started to like libraries and how we got involved with libraries. We've discussed a little bit about what we're doing. Can we talk a little bit about what we can look forward to and what we have on the table right now? I know that the Bookmarks has something that the Bookmarks had just started this year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, one of our board members came up with this suggestion, Pat Nom, and we are offering a $1,000 scholarship.
Wonderful. To
a student who resides in the Mingus Union High School District. The last day to apply is today. So if you hurry up and go to the website, you can download the application. Our website is Bookmarks, Friends of the Cottonwood Library, and so that is available there. We are going to be offering our first bag book sale in June. I believe it's June 12th, a Wednesday. And so we have yet to determine a set price on that, but it's probably going to be in the $5 to $6 range. And so we will have bags available, and people can come in and fill the bags with the books that they would like and purchase them for that price.
So how does the Bookmarks get all of these books? How does that happen?
They're all donated to us through people in the community. And so then we have a process of going through and finding those that we feel are appropriate to sell in the book boutique. And that's how we go forward with that. And half of our funding does come from sales. So that's another good way of supporting the library, is to stop by the book boutique. And the books change every day. There's a group of people who come in, they have their assigned days, and they alternate the books. So what you see on one day may not be there the next day, but there may be a new offering that you might like.
Right.
It's always so tempting.
Well, and I see people, who are pulled one way or the other because there's the free library book, or there's still people who like to have their own library at home, and they like to physically own the book, and the Bookmarks provides that as well, and you can come to the library and find both. So that's a wonderful thing. Connie, is there anything that you're looking forward to with the Library Advisory Board? Is there anything coming up that?
Well, it's always a challenge because the library is very busy and it's pretty full.
Right.
So trying to figure out how to go forward and to provide the best services we can with the budget that we have and the space that we have. And I think that's something that the advisory board likes to talk about and see if there's a creative way that we can expand without really expanding.
Right, right. And those are ongoing conversations.
Yes, they are.
And they seem to continue, and that's always on our agenda. And I think we're headed in the right direction. I'm really confident that at one point, we'll we'll find that win-win situation, and we will, with the resources that we have, we will get there. But it's going to take support. It's going to take community participation. It just dawned on me too. For the bookmarks, anyways, there is the Fry's and the Amazon ways to participate. Can you tell us a little bit about how one can support the bookmarks through Fry's and through Amazon?
Well, you just have to sign up with both of these entities that you want to have some of your purchase money support the library. It does accumulate. It seems like a very small amount, but every little bit helps. And there's information in the book boutique about this, and you can also find information on our website, which is Bookmarks, Friends of the Cottonwood Library, and we're also on Facebook with a similar name. And if you follow us, then you will get up-to-date information on everything that we are offering, and maybe you can participate even more in these programs.
Right. That's wonderful. That's an easy way to do it once you're signed up. So getting involved is no problem. So the Bookmarks has a Facebook. The Bookmarks has a website. Of course, the Cottonwood Public Library. We're really trying to promote our own Facebook page, so if anybody's on Facebook, you can check out either one of our Facebook pages. Our website, the Cottonwood Public Library website, is ctwpl.info, so if you want any more information on any of the programs that we run, we'd love to see you check out our website there. I'd like to pitch the phone number, 928-634-7559 is how you can call the Cottonwood Public Library. Or I also want to mention that the Yavapai Library Network now has a mobile app, so you can access the entire catalog from your cellular device, which makes putting holds or finding out where you're at in line much easier. So there's a lot of that information on our website as well. We have a bag book sale coming up. We have a strategic plan that we're talking about. We have overdrive classes that we're going to be performing here pretty soon. We have a volunteer who's going to be doing overdrive. Now, Connie, I know that during our strategic plan, we really found out from the public that being able to use their devices was something that they wanted to do, but maybe they weren't able to do. Is that kind of what we got?
Well, sometimes it's confusing, figuring out how to, say, check out an ebook or where you stand. I mean, it looks like it's there, but it isn't necessarily available because you can't just check out one ebook to 1,000 people all at once. So understanding how all that works is it's helpful for us all.
Right, right. So we partnered with a local community volunteer to be able to run those classes at the library once a month. So we're really excited about those coming up. We're also partnering with another local community volunteer for a coding class for some of our teens. Which is excellent. So they're basically going to be playing computer games and learning coding. And Joyce Reed right now at this minute is at the Cottonwood Community School, and she is showing kids the Ozobots, the coding Ozobots, and she's playing. Hard work, I'm sure, for her, but playing with the kids and playing with robots, and that's the whole idea, is that she's sharing with them how to learn. While they think they're just playing. So those are the types of things that we want to do. We want to be able to encourage partnerships at the library, and we want to get out there in the community and be able to share those experiences with all those kids. So that's all I have to talk about today. Is there any last minute words of wisdom from either one of you?
Well, I would like to really compliment the Cottonwood Public Library, because I think we are so fortunate to have this kind of facility here in this part of Arizona. My daughter visited in October, and I gave her the grand tour, and now she's from the Boston area, so she's used to those kinds of libraries, and she was so impressed with what we have to offer. And I remember the youth services being in the small area where AV is now, and to think that it has expanded to a 2-floor facility, it's just wonderful for our community.
It's really nice that the library has been able to grow as the community grows and expands, because the supporting role is just tremendous.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank you both for being here today. I really appreciate you just coming down and sitting and chatting with us. That's all we have for Inside Cottonwood today. I'm Ryan Bigelow, the Cottonwood Public Library Director, and we'll see you next time.